Don't lose the Moonwells.
Man.
Dendy's actually got a Heaven's Halberd. He's got a Ghost Scepter as well. Not a whole lot of damage, but a lot of utility, just making it difficult for the anti-mage to get kills.
Yeah.
Everyone's picking up a Ghost Scepter right now.
They should, man.
Yeah. Actually, Crystal Maiden has one. I think 4 heroes have Ghost Scepter on Navi. Yeah, they definitely have 4 Ghost Scepters on their team.
Ooh, Orange is ready to fight back, though. They're 5-man smoked. Might see a Blink initiation from Sand King. Creeps are pushing forward, though. And they will most likely not cast anything here. Don't want to reveal that they're waiting. All of Navi is also ready for team fight. Except for... Mushi's not going to be there, I guess. So nothing just yet. It's going to be a bit before the Roshan timer. They've got a minute and a half. Maybe that's why they were 5-man smoke there. They're expecting Navi to do the same. Swing up through the lane and run into 5 heroes. But Mushi's going to go top in the meantime. So Mushi's going to threaten the top racks. The other 4 can take the Aegis.
He's got buyback right now, by the way.
He does?
Not for another 2 minutes.
Okay. He could still die, hypothetically. They don't have a Hex or anything, right? They just got stuns.
He's got max gold, though, and maybe wait for another Aegis and give it to the Queen of Pain this time. Or even the Dazzle. Keep everyone alive twice.
This Crystal Maiden has almost as much HP as Alchemist when he doesn't use ulti. That's crazy. It's a 1700 HP up, Crystal Maiden. And that's how you play it, guys. If you keep dying, you gotta buy more HP.
Stacking them up.
Or play better. I don't know. Not saying the puppy's been playing bad. A lot of those deaths are very out of his control, that's for sure.
Yeah. And Havas, he's got 4,100 gold. Curious to see what he's going to go. Maybe he finishes the Abyssal. Or maybe he just actually saves for the buyback.
I just
They
don't
think
know.
the inevitable push is coming.
The chain stun, if they do it perfectly, they could definitely kill him with Butterfly, but it's going to be so tough. MKB would allow him to right-click a lot better. It would basically make Anti-Mage just about as strong as he was previously, and that meant that with chain stunning, Habos could just right-click him. I don't know. I think MKB is going to have to be it. I think it's more important than Abyssal myself. I don't know how you feel, but...
Maybe, but it would make you be able to, like, two-shot all the supports.
The Abyssal?
You do crazy damage, too. And it gives you another stun for free.
I feel like he's already got a stun. He's got Unstable Concoction. It's a 4-second. If they combo with Vacuum, I mean, he's killed a lot of the supports without too much trouble. And even without Unstable, he's still got bashes. He attacks really fast. It's not as reliable, but, I mean, if it was a single target, like a carry that was just by himself, like a Gyrocopter or something, sure, Abyssal Blade is probably the right choice, but he needs to be able to, like, Anti-Mage is too meaty. He's got to be able to kill this guy.
Yeah, and another Aegis going to be taken out. This time, KYXY, of course, he's going to take it. 5,800 gold on Mushi, and I think they're actually just waiting for another buyback. And once that minute fades, I mean, if they lose the team fight, I'd assume he's going to buy Boots of Travel and then just port back in. Because he's got so much gold.
He does go for the Demon Edge, so he says, I have to get an MKB. He's actually got the gold for it already. Pretty impressive farm here. So he's going to have an MKB, plus a Basher, plus a Shadow Blade. Pulls back the stacks. Doing a great job farming here.
30 seconds left for Mushi for his buyback. He's just farming top. Doesn't even care.
He's pushing the waves out at least.
He's got Boots of Travel. He's got 4,700 gold. His team could be doing this, but instead he's like, you know what? I'm Mushi. I'm the one that gets the creeps.
I need more farm. I don't care that I have... Alright, literally, he's got no... His items aren't going to change for the rest of the game. Does he need to push? Alright, he's got to push, but like... Does he need to grab more farm? Probably not.
He's gonna go to...
Like, literally, every single creep hit for the rest of the game... Worthless.
He's got 652 CS right now.
He gets literally nothing from this. EXP,
he's
gold, doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's just actually... I think he's actually doing it now just because he's like, well, this is what I normally do.
What do I do? He can't not farm, actually. It would be harder for him to not farm than to farm.
It's like, well, I guess I'm by this creep wave, and
I
he
just
could
wish
buy back. He could buy back twice, right? If he could even do that, if there wasn't a cooldown timer.
Probably. He's got, what, 6k gold? The buyback is like 1,800. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, no matter...
He can
There's
buy
almost no
back
justification for
times.
this.
There really isn't. The split pushing is fine. It makes sense to pressure the wave
but,
top.
but the ancient farming is just like... I guess he's just doing it to do it.
He should use his Manta style to stack multiple camps and then have his other
teammates,
allies. The downside is his allies can't farm nearly as fast as him. He is the carry. And a lot of them actually don't even have that great of items. I mean, X has a Blink and a Force Staff, but he's had this nothing more. No Aghanims, no Veil. Dazzle has picked up Aghanims, but from that it's pretty hard to heal. The Force Staffs help a lot, but they're going to pop smoke, and I guess they're going to try to fight something. Mushi is going to probably try to backstab, I guess. I think Orange could take a straight 5-on-5, but why do that when you can just Mega Creep?
And Havost, he's at bottom alone here, and it looks like they're trying to get him to go. Waiting for this for a second.
Will they go high ground, though? Havost is waiting to grab the creeps. He uses his ulti, so he's going to have extra HP. Here comes the Epicenter. Here comes the Blink. The Hex as well. He's going to be pushed down. His HP is so low, but a great vacuum counter initiation from Darkseer. They might be able to get him. X is going to go down. Havost is charging to stun. He doesn't have anybody to throw it on, but his BKB will last long enough. It doesn't. So he's going to take a 4-second stun here. Ohio's going to turn and fight. There's the Poison Touch. KYXY, but he is going to Shadow Blade. He's going to get out of there. Okay for now. In the meantime, Anti-Mage trying to do the top, take the top tower. Puppy as well as Croaky are defending this one. They're going to lift him and steal him more. In the meantime, they're going back for more fight. Net gets vacuumed again. Havost running for his life. His HP is so low. He's going to get picked off by KYXY. He cannot buy back, I don't believe. 1,000 gold is not enough. And Funnick's going to fall as well. That means this game is pretty much over, guys. Mushi actually
Mushi's
doesn't
like
take
1-on-3 right now.
He backs off. Plays
but his team
safe.
is coming up. And actually, there's an Aegis still on this Queen of Pain.
Wow.
And I think they're actually going to take this. He's going to wait for his heart regen to just go for half a second, and then this should be a free Raxia. And he's going to just come back in here, backstab this. He has a buyback. That acts as an Aegis in itself, and nothing's really going to stop Mushi at this point.
Kuro's taking a ton of damage here. Likely to go on. Good game is called from Havost. He knows it's finally over. Kuro's going to steal something, and they are just standing around. Weird team fight, man. But, man, Na'Vi did their best, but it just wasn't enough to take a game off Orange here. And that's a 2-0. Or is this game 1? I'm confused.
That was game 1.
It's game 1? Dang it. They've been losing, but they're okay. They can win the next one. Whatever.
Nothing you just said. Just
Did none of that make sense? Nothing? God.
everything's just gone terribly. That's my
All right.
job.
Well, they lost game 1, guys. Really close. They tried really hard. They got really close to winning, but not quite enough
Kind of.
damage.
I mean, they weren't able to pressure Rax, but the thing is,
They almost held it. I don't know.
despite how terribly the laning phase went for them, and let's not make any mistake about it, the laning phase went absolutely terribly for them. They had a mini comeback where they were taking the better fights, and they were doing a really good job of bursting down Ohio before he could use any of his farm.
Yeah.
And then after that, things kind of just went on a slide. The time they got team wiped for almost nothing, actually, that was like, I think they might have gotten 1 kill. If that. No, I don't actually think they even got 1 kill.
Was that the fight mid by the tier 1, I think?
Yeah, and then they lost to Voss when he kind of just ran in and he died.
Yeah, he really needed to not die there, I think, because he was halfway to his Abyssal Blade, which would have been fine at that point. Abyssal Blade before the Butterfly.
Oh, no, no, no. I
great.
meant way before that.
Okay.
Like, the first fight where
There's a lot of
their
deaths.
team got wiped. Kevin, I think something's wrong with your brain right now.
I'm actually pretty okay. I'm fairly, like, I'm actually way more awake than I was just about every other day, so I'm just...
All right, but we've
Should
talked
be.
about this game enough, and we'll hand it over to our capable analyst to kind of summarize the game for you guys.
Just to clear up any confusion, it was game 1 of Orange versus Na'Vi, so we still have a second game coming up. Really looking forward to that, but my goodness. I mean, a topsy-turvy game. I felt like I had a bit of everything. Great plays, very questionable plays, straight-up throws, Mushi farming 10k gold, and then still farming some more.
So from the get-go, I think that Na'Vi was probably a little bit overconfident in not banning out AM. We've talked about Mushi's AM over and over again, and he'll just find farm regardless. You can try and pair dual lane versus him, but it did not accomplish anything. And on the flip side, Orange was not overconfident, and they banned out Wisp. So, like, not banning or getting Wisp banned out and giving Mushi anti-mage, I was already not very good from the get-go. But I liked Orange's draft. They had a lot of solutions for the single target capabilities of Na'Vi. They had defensive disrupts, and we saw Shallow Grave. Both of them were very good, and we saw like anti-mage Blink with Spell Shield. He was like nigh impossible to kill unless he just like TPs in the middle of 5 heroes like we saw one time, or just like doesn't want to blink for whatever reason. I think the deaths that he had, he definitely could have avoided. I personally didn't like the Scepter first on Den. He had a really good start, but he was just sitting on it a lot, and they have a lot of solutions for Scepter. I feel like a Drums and or Flash would have been better for him early, just so they can push down a lot of towers and try and take away the attention from Havost so he could actually farm up. I didn't really like his item choice too much too, but regardless, they bounced back from a relatively weak early game. Again, giving up a kill to a solo anti-mage as a dual lane, that, I mean,
the reason you run that dual lane is to slow him down.
Right.
And you ended up accelerating his farm.
And Puppy just gave up very early death. So did Kuroki. Kuroki, he was Rubik and Alchemist versus a very, very strong triple lane. That was a ridiculously strong triple lane. We haven't seen that very often. They didn't have any carry, but it was Shadow Demon, Shadow Priest, and Sand King with the Shadow Priest farming, and they just like obliterated heroes with Shadow Wave.
Yeah, I mean, Kuroki got caught up position. Navi didn't have the strongest lanes and then made a lot of mistakes in those lanes. Those 2 kills, I felt like just giving up those 2 kills in that situation, given the draft, Orange should have just won by default there. Because AM is going to farm after that free kill on Crystal Maiden. Alk is going to be shut down by that tri-lane. The tri-lane from Orange was brilliant, but a few other things that came up is I think Orange could have played it a lot better than how they did.
It was a little bit sloppy. Even though they won, it was
sloppy. I mean, you pointed out, we were actually watching in the other room, when KYXY got roared that first time, they should have had Shadow Demon or Sand King there, or even the Dazzle. Any one of those
Dazzle
three.
TP, but it was too late.
I don't think he should have died there. I think also, you just look at the way they tried to go about sieging the base. They somehow found themselves basically halfway between the fountain and the tier 3s. Like, they're supposed to be over here hitting the racks. They're over here getting even off the screen, because that's how far out of position they were, just like my hand. Not where they belonged. They end up getting picked off. They overextend. All they had to do is what they ended up doing later, which is disrupt the anti-mage and siege with Manta
and make
illusions.
them come to them.
Yeah.
And also,
if they had just done that, it would have been pretty much victory by default. And I thought if Orange were not as ridiculously far ahead as they were, they might have lost that game.
Yeah, but again, if they weren't as ridiculously far ahead, they might have not gotten overconfident
True.
and like played like ridiculous. Mushi also went for Abyssal over Butterfly. That's a little bit questionable. I mean, he has all the gold in the world.
Against the Alk, I mean, I guess the idea was you can jump in, Abyssal the Darkseer, and then just blow him up, because there was no real defense. There was no disruption on Na'Vi. There was no way to bail him out, particularly aside from, say, a Rubik Burrow Strike. Speaking of Rubik, Kuroki played a sensational game.
Yeah, I mean,
after that first blood.
Sand King actually picked up a couple levels of stats instead of Sandstorm, and if you have low level 1 Sandstorm, maybe you want to save it for a stun dodge. He tried to stun dodge Alchemist once, but it actually didn't happen. But he gave away Burrow Strike like way too many times. Sure, Kuroki played a fine Rubik, but it's also a little bit of Sand King's problem that you just have to Sandstorm immediately after Burrow Strike every time against a Rubik, and you have to change up your play a little bit. But I mean, Kuroki played fantastic, and they definitely got back into the game. Also, Anti-Mage fought before he had his Manta style, which is, I mean, Mushi loves to farm, but he seems to farm like, hey, I'm 6-slotted with 6,000 gold. Okay, sure, I'll farm a little
He
bit
loves
more.
to farm,
right?
And he loves to fight, and he just can't decide what to do sometimes.
I know.
He should not have died in that mid-engage where he again, just things that Orange could have done even better. As much as, yes, they crushed Na'Vi in this game, and the end result, it makes Na'Vi look bad. I felt like Na'Vi almost played better, especially through the mid game. Like, their draft and the way the game started just screwed them so royally that it was almost impossible to come back.
Yeah,
but
picking Beastmaster for Shadow Demon first pick is like
and then there's Dazzle as well, and then it's really hard. But in the end, well, we've beaten the horse to death a little bit. We've beaten the carcass as well.
So for next game, I think that Na'Vi should ban out Anti-Mage because they
take
didn't seem to have a
Mushi
good
out of his
solution.
comfort zone. I'm fully agreed there. Certainly don't give them the Shadow Demon plus Anti-Mage combo. We'll see what they do, though. Na'Vi versus Orange Game 2 is coming up. You've been watching the Alienware Cup, brought to you by Beyond the Summit, made possible by DPM Interactive, as well as Alienware and MasterCard. Game 2 after this.
2.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be game 2 of Navi vs Orange. How can they come back from this 0-2? I don't know, man.
Wait, what?
That was a joke.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just like,
Yeah. Whatever. All right, this is game 2. Navi lost the first game. Orange took them out. They had a massive advantage. Navi did a great job fighting back in the mid game. It looked like there was hope for them stopping the anti-mage, but in the end, they lost all their Rex.
you can't let the laning phase go that badly. And by badly, I mean that laning phase went about as terribly as you could possibly let it go. If you're, if you can do a better job protecting your carry, that dual lane was kind of weird. I mean, Puppy obviously isn't going to be somebody that makes a mistake, lets himself get hit by the tower a lot, just a bit of a misplay.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, if they cut out mistakes like that, they can do a really good job. I mean, Dendy's been kind of having a rough tournament so far. You know, we're not seeing like the standard Dendy, but that was about as close to
what you
a
expect
classic
out of him.
Dendy. Yeah, exactly.
He did great that
He
game,
stopped.
honestly.
He actually exceeded his lane. He beat a Queen of Pain essentially.
Yeah.
I think he was winning in CS.
Yeah, he was.
He had like a 13-minute Aghanims with a bottle, and he was actually doing fantastically. Roars were on point. Axes every time. The boars were always there. I mean, when he caught Ned from blinking with Sand King, stuff like that.
Yep.
So if you can kind of utilize Dendy, if he's playing at his high level, Havost minimizes those mistakes that he was making. And if the laning phase doesn't go as bad, then Navi, I think, can take this game.
Yep.
They just showed that they can at least play to an even footing with Orange.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's hop into the game, guys. We're into game 2 here. Navi is, of course, at a 0-1 disadvantage, not a 0-2. First pick out of Orange is actually going to be a Nyx Assassin. It made it through the pool. We don't see an anti-mage ban, but there's, again, a Wisp ban, and a Bat Rider, and a Visage.
Yeah, and that Darkseer ban, wow. Phonics vacuums.
They really did.
Left,
they
right.
won a fight or two because of that. The first Rax attempt, the vacuum into Burrow Strike, things like that. Comboing AoEs on support heroes, that is like the money moment. When you see those guys eat AoE stuns, you just know it's going to swing the team fights.
Yeah, and Curl played that fight, every one of those fights actually fantastically. Being able to steal Burrow Strike and then getting like 2 or 3 person burrows off.
Yeah.
He was a better Sand King than Sand King that game.
Dang.
Dang.
So mean.
So meta. But Nyx actually going to be picked up by Orange. That's a hero that we see sometimes. It's like sometimes you see him, sometimes you don't. And in return, Spectre and Enchantress is going to be picked up by Navi. No Chen. A little bit surprised to see that, but Enchant does give you a better like level 1 to 3 where you can get multiple creeps, whereas Chen can only take hold of 1. And also the heal is quite good from an individual perspective. You know, it keeps her alive. And late game she scales a lot better with Impetus.
Yeah, with she does a lot more damage on herself. Would you say she is a squishier hero than Chen? But I feel like once she gets some HP into her, like an Aghanims or something, her dying to Nyx Assassin is probably not going to happen.
Yeah, the
In comparison
Untouchable.
to Chen, like Chen doesn't have a lot of escape options. He's like, well, I have mech, I have an Aghanims, like that is it. And like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Just laugh. That's it.
And Untouchable's really good against carries too. So she does a really good job of staying alive during stuff like that. But Nyx Assassin going to be picked up first for Orange Esports. Sorry. You guys. Okay, we're good. So one more pick left for Orange. Not really sure what they're going to pick up.
Hopefully not an anti-mage. I don't think I
You
can
don't-
handle
dude.
seeing an orange anti-mage. somebody
Mushi, like, sometimes, alright, I don't want to criticize him, but he definitely overfarms.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, well, I could take all of the farm in the world. It's like he's kind of saving up for like a hostage negotiation system. He's like, I'm just going to save as much money as possible, and I can get my daughter back with this.
I think you need multiple millions for that one. I don't know.
I mean, if any player's going to get to that, it's going to be Mushi.
Okay.
I got Merlini to laugh with that terrible analogy.
Oh
so
God. Yeah,
was
that's
that bad.
that's definitely why. Yep, that's.
I've
where-
got perfect dad humor. I'd make a fantastic father. Anyways, we've got Alchemist picked up by Orange Neolution Esports. That's a hero we previously saw on Navi. Maybe they can make it work a little bit better this game. It's one of those heroes too. If you get behind early, we always see it like come back.
Yeah, that was honestly Havost did a great job coming back. I didn't think he was gonna get vaguely even close to
like level-
anti-mage's farm.
It was like level 2 at like
Yeah.
4 minutes or something like that.
And then he did 3 levels into Grievel's Greed, and he actually got items up at a reasonable area. I was really surprised, honestly. He did a great job farming back up. That was great.
Yeah. So Navi,
Wow, a bounty hunter ban?
that's a hero that we haven't seen banned or picked in so long.
Yeah. Doesn't get picked very much anymore. It's really random. Is there some strategy? I mean, it would give Spectre a lot of movement speed. Maybe that's why they don't want to deal with Spectre being like max movement speed. Or for example, even if you use Spectre ulti, it doesn't have to necessarily be Spectre that's really fast. If you can just get the illusions that fast, it really does a lot more damage.
Yeah. And Rubik actually going to be banned. I absolutely agree with that decision. If there's a hero that goes 1-1 with the player, it's Rubik and Kuro. I mean, that game.
Yeah.
He almost saved it. He
Yeah.
was like blinking around, never dying. He had so much farm. He had like a 22-minute blink dagger and arcane boots on a support Rubik. The one thing though, the way that Kuro does play is a little bit more greedy, in that he doesn't really help buy those wards, those sentries. He kind of leaves that to Puppy, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna farm.
It's pretty good purpose though. Like putting farm on really talented players can produce results.
Yeah.
And
It just
Navi's-
kind of hurts. It just kind of hurts Puppy a little bit.
Yeah. He died a few. He took a few for the team that game. It's definitely true.
He definitely took a few for the game, or for the team. But Dragon Knight going to be picked up by Navi. That's definitely going to be Dendy's hero this game, unless they try to fake us out again. That was like the most poorly attempted like fake out. You know?
Oh, the swap.
Yeah.
Like where
I remember
was,
it reminds me of like two kids in a huge trench coat trying to pass off as like an adult.
Wow.
It fooled us though, so
It did. I was really excited. I was like, oh, cool. They're gonna put him
we
mid.
would definitely
Nobody's
sell
done this
alcohol to little
forever.
kids by accident.
How am I supposed to tell that they're
Exactly.
over 21?
We go by height, but anyways, Dragon Knight gonna be picked up for Navi, and a lot of the long lane heroes have actually been banned out. There's no Bat Rider, there's no Clockwork, there's no Bounty Hunter, no Darkseer. What's really left
Windrunner.
in this pool? There's Windrunner, who Funnick plays really well. There's Nature's Prophet, which still exists as well, and we saw Orange actually pick like a 1 Nature's Prophet for Mushi the other day.
That was a really weird game. It was fun to watch. I was like, that's weird. I've never seen somebody do this before. It opened my brain a little bit.
And there we go. There's the Nature's Prophet picked up by Orange.
But
If
it's
you
gonna be
can't
an
get-
offlane, though.
Yeah, if you can't get an anti-mage, if you're not going to pick an anti-mage for Mushi, you're going to get something like an Alchemist or a Nature's Prophet. One of those farming heroes. It just calls to him.
He needs to hit level 25, get 6 slotted, and continue farming. It's the only way.
Yep.
So, a couple bans left for each team. Navi gets to do their next pick here. They have their mid hero, they have a jungler, they have a hard carry, they need a support, and they need an offlane. Now, Orange is most likely going to put Nature's Prophet in the offlane, so they could save their Windrunner pick for the last one. Unless it gets banned, of course. Orange does have 1 ban left over. Do they grab the Windrunner now? Or do they pick up their support hero? All the supports are in the pool, pretty much, except for Shadow Demon and Visage. And they grab a Beastmaster.
So that's going to be the offlane hero for Navi this game. You've got 3 melee heroes, but with a lot of them have large initiations. I mean, once you get the Elder Dragon form on the Dragon Knight, you've got a stun, you've got a roar pairing with that, and then you've got Spectre with his dagger and his ult. So you've got a lot of distance closures on Navi. A lot of good initiate too. The only thing that they kind of lack early is that burst damage, but it should be okay. And the laning phase is going to be a little bit... It's always a little bit wonky when you pick this many melees, but...
Yeah. Dude, all they have to do is get a Vlad's and it's GG.
Yeah.
I mean, how much free lifesteal do
It's
you
going to
get?
be Pizza GG once they pick up a Vlad's on that
No
Enchantress.
kidding. Thank you, Papa John's, man. All
Based
the way.
Papa John's. Thank you for sponsoring esports. So Orange has got 2 more picks to go. They need... If that's going to be... I mean, mid Nyx is actually quite common, as is support Nyx. It's a good pick in general because you can put him both ways. I know I've seen DK running both ways before, as a mid for super and as a support
Yep.
for QQQ. So let us see how this goes.
I feel like if they grab... Oh, that'll be a Nyx mid. They can gank with Nature's Prophet with it. I guess that would be kind of good. How do you feel Nyx matches up against Dragon Knight? I feel like Dragon Knight has a moderate advantage.
You do okay. You kind of always lose the lane with Nyx in general, but the strong part of him is once you hit level 6, you can kind of get free kills.
Okay, so what is this silencer?
That's a silencer support.
Silencer support versus Spectre. Okay, the plan is wait till Spectre uses Haunt, then you pop Global Silence.
Then
I
he
saw
can't come
I
in.
saw that I saw this in a scrim once, and TC was playing the Spectre. I think Fluff was on the Silencer, some IXDL or something, and they would pop the Spectre ulti and then the Silencer ulti. It would stop Spectre from haunting, so it forced the Spectre to get a Manta style, which was weird because like it would be like Global Silence, and he would have to Manta out just to remove the Global Silence, and then he would teleport in and leave his illusions behind, and it felt like the biggest waste ever. It was a big waste, but like you had to do it because you have to get through. You can also BKB, but that feels a little bit of a waste on Spectre, don't you think?
10 seconds remaining.
You gonna talk?
Yeah.
Come on, what's the problem?
5 seconds remaining.
People aren't here at the studio right now, so they're really confused, but Jared's like dying. So what we're doing right now, I'll just tell you the secret, guys. Whenever I'm talking, Purge does something to try to distract me, and vice versa, and we're getting like steadily more ridiculous. So, okay, we should analyze the draft though and stop messing with each
I was
other.
totally doing that. You're making faces.
I wasn't making
and doing
faces.
things with your hands.
Okay, so Crystal Maiden gonna be picked up. That's the last hero for Navi. That's a really well drafted lineup. They've got a lot of disables. They don't lack for stuns. They've got team fight, late game. This just feels like a really well-rounded lineup in general.
A lot of those heroes need mana as well. I would like to point at Spectre especially. A lot of Spectres are grabbing Drum right now to increase his mana pool, but if he even like maxes Dagger or something like that and has a couple levels of Crystal Maiden Aura, he needs mana. Enchantress will like it. Dragon Knight, definitely a big bonus. And Beastmaster will be spamming axes, especially if he does do Ancients. So, like, Crystal Maiden, again, pulls in. The draft is perfectly centered to be benefited from the support, and hopefully for Puppy he doesn't get killed as many times this game.
Yeah, and Windrunner actually going to be picked up for Orange, and picked up by KYXY, their mid player actually. So I think that's a support Nyx and a mid
So a
Windrunner.
mid-Windrunner, interesting.
Yeah, against the
A
Dragon Knight.
Windrunner versus Dragon Knight. Power Shot's great, it's magic damage, so it's magic damage is great against Dragon Knight because his armor's high, so and it's very spammable as well, you can get CS with it as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it looks pretty good to me.
Should be
Orange has
okay.
good team fight. Their stuns are okay. They're not super reliable though. You're banking on shackle shots. You're banking on unstable concoction. Nyx Assassin stun is not the best for initiating, I would say, unless obviously you break invis. Like it's not like a Aurora or something, you know.
Yeah. So last pick, I'd imagine everyone's here. They're just kind of throwing out strategies for themselves. And actually, I see Cinderin in the chat. Cinderen's actually the worst answer I know. So let's announce the lineups. This time I will go first with Navi. We've got Puppy playing Enchantress. Havas going to be playing that Spectre. Dendi on that Dragon Knight. Kuro going to be playing that Crystal Maiden. And Funnick, last but not least, going to be playing that Beastmaster for Navi.
Of course. Puppy's going to be playing Enchantress, not the Crystal Maiden. Makes sense. So for the rating team, Orange currently up 1-0. We've got Net on the Nyx Assassin. We've got Mushi playing Alchemist. KYXY is on the Windrunner. We have X playing Silencer, and the last player is going to be Ohio playing Nature's Prophet offlane.
Okay, so Navi, they've got a really well-rounded lineup, but so does Orange. They're kind of lacking